Bleh. My crusty crust.
My crusty crust.
I will go on to Extreme Radio. Okay.
My breasts is all pushed up.
On crusty. My crusty breasts is.
Crusty breasts.
Yuck.
That's no good.
No. No good. No bueno.
Okay, so I think we have everything going here.
Are you going to mention our new logo or anything?
Oh, yeah.
I would, yeah. We got ourselves a new logo. Little wiener dog up there.
I know, right? Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Let's rock and roll, Kate.
Let's rock and roll.
Let's rock and roll.
Broadcasting live 4 days a week worldwide.
From the sunny beaches of Southern California,
This is ExtremeHealthRadio.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Robert O. Young with the pH Miracle Center, phmiracle.com, and enjoy Extreme Health Radio with Justin and Kate. They are incredible folks. They have unbelievable information, and they share it freely. So tune in daily.
And Kate is dancing. As always. We're only 4 minutes late.
I know.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Mine says 3.
I'll take it.
I know, right?
I like it.
Yeah. We're getting back on it, aren't we?
We're getting back on it. 3 minutes late. Not too bad. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
So let's see. You've had a pretty productive morning.
Oh, my goodness. Only 9 o'clock and I have...
What haven't you done? What did you
nothing.
do today?
I woke up.
That's always a good thing.
Right. It's always a good way to start the day.
Always want to make sure to do that.
Got back to a bunch of emails, caught up on some stuff online. Then I went to the local farmer's market and got a bunch of stuff so we could have breakfast. Came home, did that, chopped up a pineapple, got that ready, sliced up a bunch of strawberries. Then I suited up Maggie, took her down the street for a walk, and came back, threw myself in here, and here we go.
That's pretty darn good. And we had a bow bowl.
And, the bow bowl.
The bow bowl. Have you guys ever had a bow bowl? I'm guessing not, since we just made up the name a couple days ago.
Your dad made up the name.
I know, right? I should give him credit.
I know, actually, huh?
The bow bowl.
Yeah, our friend Bo came and stayed with us for the last 2.5 weeks, and she makes this amazing. She's from myorganiclife.info. We'll put a link to hers, but holy cow, she makes this thing that she calls breakfast in a cup. We call it the Bo Bowl because she made them up, and your dad is obsessed with them, huh?
He loves.
She's gotten your dad off of regular milk and cereal into making one of these Bo Bowls every morning now.
Right? Incredible.
Yeah. So what it is chia seed.
What is that?
Soaked overnight in milk, like an almond milk, or we use coconut milk.
We use coconut milk with the fat. We actually opened up a bunch of coconuts yesterday, didn't we?
Right. You opened up the
blended it up with the old with the meat and the water, and then put some vanilla extract in there.
Stir it up and let it sit there and overnight, and then in the morning you can put anything you wish in it. Yum! I pureed a banana, threw it in there with some strawberries on top and some cinnamon, a little dab of honey. I
know. I put a little bit of what do you call that? Not hemp seed, but
flax.
Flax seed.
Yeah, you put flax in yours.
I don't care for the flax just because of what Dr. Wong said.
What, with the estrogenic properties of it?
Yeah, it's really high in estrogens, but I just went ahead and did it anyway. We have to kind of get rid of it. I don't want to waste it. So since that gels up and congeals like the chia seed, I do that. And I blended before I did that, I blended a little bit of the One World Way vanilla.
Oh. Let me try that. Whistling's never been my strong point. It's never been
your forte.
I thought maybe today, since I was on top of the world, it might be different.
Not happening.
Oh, sad. We'll put a link to that, though. You know what? Especially going into the summer, that is a great morning breakfast alternative because it's cold, it's nice, it's flavorful. You can use all the farmer's market fresh. Can you imagine putting like peaches on that?
Peaches and maybe some granola or some nuts or something.
Oh, my.
Like some... I want to get toasted hemp seeds that don't have sea salt on them.
Oh.
Like unflavored, just toasted hemp seeds.
Can I say snap? Oh, snap.
You can.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that because a white girl from California. But
It's your radio show.
I know.
Wouldn't that be good? Oh.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm telling you, you got to do a little bit of the whey in there.
I do. My problem is, you know how I've been obsessed with the whey? I've just been eating it by the spoonful.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I'm going to go through it too quick.
Yeah, you eat
I'm
it
putting
like
in everything.
You're like a junkie.
I am a whey junkie.
I know. That is funny.
Tasty stuff.
You
Tasty
love that.
business.
So yeah, you could put some nuts in there, a little bit of some fruit. Mm-hmm. Man, that's good.
Yeah, some slivered almonds for sure. There was a raw granola we were making for a while. Oh my gosh, what was in that?
Oh, I think I have the recipe on our site, I think.
You know, could we repost that if we can find it?
Yeah, it's really good. It's got lemon juice and honey. And
Oh, yummy.
remember that?
It has almonds, right?
It had almonds, but I think the trick with us is we got to go get those really raw almonds.
Right.
And soak them and de-skin them and put them through the magic machine.
Because what's up with that? They're not. What magic machine?
I don't know. Make them digestible somehow.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's
I was agreeing, and then I'm like, wait, what? We don't have something called the magic machine.
There's no such thing.
No, because the really raw almonds aren't like when I go to Trader Joe's and see raw almonds, those aren't considered truly raw, are they?
No.
Why is that? I never knew the difference.
It's because of the politics in labeling and packaging. I think there's a whole campaign going on called Truth in Labeling. Mm-hmm. You may want to write that down. I'll see if I can find a link to that. Truth in Labeling or something.
Okay.
And basically, it's they can put raw as a government kind of term. It's a regulated term, I should say. And so it doesn't really mean it's not really regulated in terms of like there's no clear definition as to what raw means. So raw could mean cooked to 150 degrees, but even though if you cook something 120, it kills everything. Mm-hmm. But they could say 150 and call it raw. So
see, that just bumps me out because I feel like the lines are becoming blurred too with the wild caught fishes.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, and now you know with that whole thing going on that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Let me pull this up here. This is a little fun fact.
Yeah, you sent me something about this.
Yeah, let me pull this up real quick.
I haven't had a chance to take a look, but it's. I think it's similar to what we're talking about, right? It's in terms of labeling and things.
Yeah, this is about the organic movement.
The organic.
Shoot, can you pull it up quick? My internet's kind of giving me problems there.
Let's take a look. No, I can't. Let's see.
Mm-hmm. I can get it in 1 second, actually. Here we go.
You got it?
It's cool. This is about an organization. Let me pull it up. Okay. Organic Consumers Association. It's a thing called Campaigning for Health, Justice, Sustainability, Peace, and Democracy. Save our organic standards. Tell the USDA Secretary Vilsack to reverse the rule that weakens organics. I'll just read this first paragraph. Under pressure from the Organic Trade Association, representing some of the largest players in the organic and natural food segment, the U.S. Department of Agriculture has once again weakened the standard for organic. Oh, man.
Wow.
Without any input from the public, the USDA changed the way the National Organic Standard Board decides which non-organic materials are allowed in certified organic. The change all but guarantees that when the NOSB meets every 6 months, the list of non-organic and synthetic materials allowed in organic will get longer and longer.
The list of, what does that say, synthetic materials?
Yeah. So apparently you're allowed to have some stuff. Here you go.
And this is nationwide?
Right. Wow. For consumers, this also means that the list of synthetic and non-organic ingredients allowed in organic will just get longer and longer, making reading organic labels and choosing among organic foods more complicated, confusing, and time-consuming. The USDA won't give the public an opportunity to comment on the change, but that doesn't mean they're immune to public outcry, and you can actually get on to sign this petition, and we'll put a link to it. And they're having a meeting April 9th through May 2nd in San Antonio trying to basically fight this thing. But my gosh, as if it already isn't hard enough.
I know, right?
You know, like you it's hard enough to find organic, A, B, understand what organic actually is. And now that they're going to throw all this other stuff at us without us even knowing, it's like, what are we even eating anymore?
You got to grow your own groceries.
Got to grow your own food.
Grow your own food. We promote a really cool course. We should probably put a link to it. With Marjorie Wildcraft, that she was on our show. I think she was like one of the
before I joined.
Yeah, that was like one of the third or fourth episodes. It's a program called Grow Your Own Groceries.
I am with her.
Yeah, it's pretty. She's really doing some great stuff out there in Texas, And
everybody's in Texas.
I know, right? You got to grow your own. I mean, that's crazy that they are allowing that kind of thing to be in organic.
Yeah. It
kind of goes along with a friend of mine sent me this email too. It goes along with this environmental working group petition. Mm-hmm. And it's an email called Urgent Action. And it says, an industry front group promoting genetically engineered food is on the march. Representative Mike Pompeo, Republican from Kansas, has just introduced a reprehensible new bill in the U.S. House of Representatives that could have disastrous consequences. This bill is so bad, we've named it the Deny Americans the Right to Know, or DARK Act, D-A-R-K. It would block states from requiring labeling of genetically engineered ingredients and even let foods with GE ingredients be labeled natural. We need a supernova of opposition right now. Representative Pompeo and industry lobbyists for Monsanto, Kraft, and others are actively recruiting other members of Congress to co-sponsor his bill. Take action today. Tell your representative to oppose the DARK Act, and there's links to do that. Crazy, right?
Wow.
What's going on with it?
Well, there's a lot. Marlene's in the chat room, and she says Monsanto is making organic GMO.
What?
I don't know.
That's an that's like that's an oxymoron.
That totally is an
organic GMO.
Or how about just moron? Like, that's just, what is that?
Man.
What are they not doing? Organic GMO.
That is
disturbing.
Crazy.
What is going on? Well, we're all about petitions this morning, so we'll put links to those.
I feel like, but you know what? I feel like what's Mother Teresa? Remember when they asked her if they wanted to join her
an
march?
an anti-war rally, and she said no.
She said no. Sorry, guys, but as soon as you have a pro-peace rally, give me a call.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It disturbs me, all this stuff is going on, but at the same time, that just kind of reminds us that we have to take care of our own.
Right.
We can't just rely on other things.
And like you and I have been talking about lately, the fight mentality with anything, whether it's your health or your rights or your food, it's not going to add any, you're just going to get all riled up and upset. And this stuff's important to pay attention to, I think.
Yeah.
And to try, but not to get so upset that you're not sleeping or it's your life's mission. And just take it. I think we are so personally held responsible. I mean, we do have the option to grow our own groceries if that's what it comes down to.
It's getting to that point, I think, in terms of, if they're going to keep lowering the standards of organic, what are you going to do?
Right.
What are you going to do? You have to eat.
Mm-hmm. Become like Daniel Vitalis and learn how to forage your own salad in your backyard.
I know,
It's true, though. I mean, there's something about when Bo was visiting here, we talked so much about survival courses, and how much we're strongly interested. We're very interested right now and strongly recommend that everybody start to wake up to what that looks like, because there might come a time where we, maybe even not in our lifetime, but just, in an emergency case, at the very least,
you might
be able to know what the heck you can survive on. And at the very worst, if, it gets so bad that we need to go out and start eating dandelions out of the sidewalk cracks, we'll do it.
Well, that's a little extreme.
It's called sidewalk salad.
Have you seen, I sent a sidewalk salad. I sent Daniel Vitalis a tweet the other day. A really funny news article I found about this guy who basically lives off the grid, and he's this old guy, and it's funny.
What does he do?
He's he looks like he's probably, he's not old, he's not. I think I just say he's old because he's got a big gray beard, but he actually looks younger than. His beard makes him look really old.
Gotcha.
But he's probably in his 50s or something, but he looks like he's in his 70s or 80s. And he, 30 years ago, he went and he just walked away from society. He says, what
do you mean? He's walked out into the woods or something?
Yep.
What?
He walked out to the woods, and he's been living in the woods for the last 30 years.
Not in he didn't go walk into the woods and build a cabin or something?
Mm-mm. He just has a little fortress that he lives in.
What?
And he wild food forages, and he walks around barefoot.
I love that, man.
Yeah, I'll put a link to that. Can you put a little note there?
Sure.
I'll put a link. It's really cool.
Where does he, what state?
Let me take a look here. Let me see.
What do you call him? Does he have a name?
Yeah, let's see here. It's spiritsciencemetaphysics.com. I think, is that it? Let me take a look here.
He has his own website even though he's in the middle of the woods?
Well, he does programming.
Oh.
For companies. He's a computer programmer.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
You're kidding, right? Okay. I'm like, what?
Yeah, he actually works for NASA. But he's in the woods.
His home base.
Look at this guy.
His home base is a tree. Oh, he looks like Moses.
Let me see if I can't play a couple seconds.
You know who that looks like to me?
Who's that?
What I picture God looking like.
God?
He looks like God, doesn't he? Like the white beard sitting up on a cloud.
Okay, I'm going to try to play this little video
clip. It's like a cartoon.
It's a couple seconds.
Okay.
It's probably a minute or so. Let's see if this comes through, and hopefully it does. Yeah, it's 2 minutes.
Okay, let's do it.
Not a better bedroom in the world.
He has a dog.
Yeah.
It has 2 entrances. Back door, front door. Yeah.
Oh,
Wake up in the morning, have breakfast. Tastes like chicken. Everything tastes like chicken out here except chicken.
He's eating clover.
Try one.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
Dude, that guy's awesome.
Like the early explorers and pioneers of the Pacific Northwest, Mick lives primarily off the land. He sleeps in tree stumps, like this one. But he didn't always lead this kind of life.
Owned a couple of houses and cars and all that kind of life. And one day I just grabbed my gear and just walked on back here in the mountains. I never considered going back home. There was this excitement and this adventure I found by stepping out of the modern world.
When Mick left that world behind, the first thing he did was kick off his shoes.
One of the first things that happens when you step out of shoes, your senses come more online. You got over 200,000 nerves in the feet. That catches your attention. Your eyes go to the ground, you're really watching, and you see more of the land. Out here, your feet begin to fit into so many different kinds of textures.
Tattoos of roots adorn his feet, marking the connection he feels to the path he walks.
My feet became my map. My feet became my compass. So I took off on my barefoot journey.
Isn't that
awesome? That's a trip.
I know. You were just talking about... so this is on spiritsciencemetaphysics.com if you live listeners are interested. Actually, you know what we should do is we should post that in the chat room.
That guy is amazing.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. First of all, I want to know, he could get a full-time job making costumes for the Lord of the Rings movies.
I know,
He
right?
looks like he's straight out of like Braveheart or some Hobbit movie.
I know.
And then second of all, I'd be really taken aback and scared if I ran into that guy in the woods. Oh my gosh.
I know.
You'd be out there just like looking at a stream and all of a sudden this guy just with a white beard and crazy hair jumps out at you.
Comes out at you.
He has a dog.
He has a dog. Isn't that funny?
That is beautiful.
That is beautiful. It's pretty cool though, huh?
That's
right?
amazing.
Because you were talking about, the needing to do survival tips, and I just came across this yesterday.
Wow.
But you know what? It's getting to the point where we're going to have to start learning some of that. I mean,
sure.
I suspect there's going to be more and more people that are going to be, that kind of, living that kind of life, because people are just going to get more and more frustrated. I don't know if I could ever do that though. That's a bit.
I wonder how much you'd have to know to go out and live like that. I wonder what that guy knew, how much he prepared, or if he learned as he went. I mean, it's amazing, that you're not dead, that he didn't eat one bad berry. I'm sure he has so many stories about stuff he tried out, but yeah. I wonder how much knowledge he had prior to walking out of his old life and literally into the forest. That's beautiful, wherever that was. It didn't say where that was, did it?
Yeah, it looked like just a really picturesque, beautiful forest. I mean, it looked like a really inviting
like he was in
place.
New Zealand somewhere.
And he looked like Braveheart, didn't he?
He did look like Braveheart.
20 years later.
Yeah, meets Moses.
Pretty fascinating.
Wow,
huh?
He's the real thing.
Yeah, and so if people didn't eat garbage food, they wouldn't have all of these diseases, because you look at a guy like him.
Yeah.
And he looks pretty healthy. I mean, he looks old, right, because his beard, but he actually looks like he's running around like he's younger.
Oh, yeah. He's totally, what's that called? Like, his physique is... I think his face just looks a little weathered because he's living in the woods. But
yeah.
what would that guy look like if you took him and washed him up and gave him a haircut and put him in the city, you wouldn't even know.
You wouldn't even know it's him.
You wouldn't even recognize him. Imagine shaving his beard off and cutting his hair. I can't imagine what that guy would look like.
Yeah, put him in a suit and tie.
Wow.
But that's unnatural.
Yeah, it
Suit and
is.
tie. But it would be interesting to see,
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Wonder what his family thinks.
I know.
You know, it's like he's
not
doesn't get invited over for Christmas dinner and they can't find him. Send a pigeon out to give him a letter.
I know.
I mean, really, it's like, what do you tell people when you're like, that's my son? I have 2 sons. One's on Wall Street. One's a mechanic. And one lives in the middle of the woods. That is cool. That's awesome.
That's funny. So you're talking a little bit ago about how everyone's in Texas, because I mentioned Marjorie Wildcat.
Everyone is in Texas.
Stephen Hines is doing for those that are in Texas, if you're listening, if you're anywhere near San Antonio, you might want to check this out. Dr. Stephen Hines was on our show, and he's kind of known as the Lyme's guy, Lyme's disease, but he is just really, really incredible guy. And he's doing a seminar in Texas on May 2nd and May 3rd in San Antonio. It's an 8 to 10 hour seminar. I wish we could go to this.
I do too.
Check this out. It's $50 a person or $35 for students with an ID.
What?
It's $50 a person for 2 days, May 2nd and 3rd, 8 to 10 hours. It's Friday from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. and Saturday from 9 to 12 and then from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And it's entitled What You Need to Know to Successfully Treat. And then he's got Lyme disease, fibromyalgia, lupus, chronic fatigue, rheumatoid arthritis, juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, migraines, joint pain, multiple sclerosis, Guillain-Barré syndrome, dementia, Alzheimer's, ADD, ADHD, ALS, Parkinson's, and 300 more. That would be worth going to.
I can't believe there's even 300 more things, you know? Wow.
Yeah, there's 300 more things that could kill people.
Okay. That's amazing. $50?
$50. Yeah.
Shoot.
And then it says, mention Hope Wellness Center seminar to receive the $85 room rate for the, looks like the Hilton Doubletree the Doubletree by the Hilton.
Wait, what's that room rate?
It says mention Hope Wellness Center seminar to receive the $85 room rate.
Wow, that's a good gig.
And it says Doubletree by Hilton.
Wow.
And so if you're interested, that number for the Hilton is 210-224-7155. And you can find more information on hopewellness.com.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good stuff.
That's tempting to go, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd love to go to that. So please, send this around to your friends. Clinical consultant, Dr. Stephen Hines, traditional naturopath, co-owner of Hope Wellness Center, as well as the Ciudad Center in Acuña, Mexico.
Acuña.
Pretty cool, huh?
Wow, that's amazing.
So what do you think? Are you ready to go get a bow and do the, what is that called?
I am. Archery?
Yeah, archery?
Yeah, I am.
Ready to go hunting?
I am going to go hunting. Archery, actually, I'm gonna start getting into that this summer.
Yeah?
Yeah, that and finally playing the banjo.
I know,
Those are
right?
the 2 things this summer that I'm super excited about.
That would be fun, huh?
Better watch out or slick arrow to the neck.
Why? What if I don't take out the trash or something?
If you don't fan me with palm fronds and feed me grapes every morning like I deserve.
Oh my goodness, what happened to you? Like I deserve.
Stick a little ayahuasca and an arrow and right to the neck. Wonder what that'd do to you.
Oh my gosh, that'd be right to the brain.
Speaking of ayahuasca.
Yeah, you gonna do it?
Well, I don't know, maybe one day, but we've been watching some intense videos on
We have.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah, with Miss Amber Lyons. We're gonna try to get Amber on the show.
She's great. She's a gnarly chick.
We'll put a link to that episode, Ayahuasca.
How do you even spell ayahuasca?
A-Y-A.
Uh-huh.
A-Y-A-H-U-A-S-C-I-A or something like that.
Wow.
Ayahuasca.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it before you. But now I have.
And that was prolific.
But that seems pretty intense. It's it's considered, I mean, they call it a drug, but it's a medicine. They call it a medicine more than they call it a drug.
Personally, I don't think anything is a drug unless it's synthesized. That's just an herb. That's just a tea, a medicine.
It's a psychedelic.
Psychedelic, yeah.
I don't understand. Is the only place you can go to get it and experience it in Brazil?
No, they actually have different places around the world where you can get it. I think I may be wrong on this, but I think there's a set of base herbs, and then there's other herbs that different cultures around the world will add to it or not add to it based on where they are. Because she was talking about a brew she recently did in Indonesia as well as Australia.
Oh,
remember that?
I do actually.
And
yeah, good point.
Joe was talking about. He was saying that it's interesting that in the ayahuasca, depending on which ingredients are in there, it carries with it the history of the civilization, and so. What happens is that you start to have different experiences with the ayahuasca based on where you have it, because each location has its own history with its own herbs. So you get different, you see different things and you experience different visions depending on the herbs. But
that's interesting.
Would you ever do it?
I don't know.
Very cleansing.
I mean, I think so, but it does scare me a little bit.
Mm-hmm. You remember all those people remember that movie that we told everyone about called The Sacred Science?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Maybe if you can put a link to that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great documentary called The Sacred Science, I think. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. We're all Sacred Science.
Where all the people went down?
Yeah. People with different diseases or different health issues went down to the Amazon. Was that the Amazon? Yeah,
there was terminally ill people.
Mm-hmm. Some were terminally ill and some were just, really bad. But, they had an ayahuasca night. That wasn't the whole point, though, of the film. Ayahuasca was just a small part of that documentary.
Yeah.
But they didn't make it look, that looked doable. And then you watch the Joe Rogan Experience with Amber Lyons, and that just, holy cow, paints a picture that I'm like, I don't know if I could handle that. I mean, she's talking about people basically not only wandering out into the forest and kind of like going nuts for a while, but, like stepping over each other, trying to get to the bathroom and just like puking all over the place and, seeing things. I mean, it sounds gnarly, but I can only imagine, talk about cleansing.
I know, right?
Well, our friend Bo seems to think that we're all going to be there. So, hey, never say no.
And never say never to ayahuasca.
If it helps, if it helps you, if the medicine really, really helps you, get over mental and physical ailments, I mean, I'm all about trying anything.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if I were sick, I'd definitely do it. I still may do it.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting to try.
Yeah.
I think it depends on what attitude you have going into it.
Yeah, and the intention.
And whether or not you're generally a happy person or generally a very fearful, scared person.
Yeah.
But I think if you go into it with the right intentions, I think it could be a pretty amazing thing. I mean, Daniel Vitalis, remember on our last show, he talked about that? Mm-hmm. And they're also called entheogenics. And he talked about that, and he said he kind of just glossed over, because remember he was giving 20 different things at the end of the show. What were they? 20 different things. What was? The taboo. Intrinsic taboo.
Right. Yeah.
And in that show, he's giving 20 different ways to, I forget what it was, not rewild yourself, but basically that. And one of them was to take entheogenics, and he kind of just glossed over it. I think he didn't want to talk too much.
When he said it, I didn't know what that meant, but I just put it all together.
Yeah, entheogenics.
Gotcha. Never heard that word. Entheogenic.
Yeah, crazy, huh? So
it's like a math problem.
I know, level 4 entheogenics. It's like,
I'll take period 4. I'm in level 4 entheogenic.
We didn't even really introduce the show. We just started talking.
I noticed that. Should we do a commercial and come back and introduce the show?
Let's introduce the show.
You go.
Let's introduce the show. All right, so this is episode 232. For reference, it's April 11th.
2014.
April 11th. I was just looking at 1/1.
Oh, yep, 1/1.
April 11th.
April
11th, 2014. And if you guys would like to support the show, I keep forgetting to say this, especially on the Friday shows.
Don't forget that.
You know what the Friday shows feels like to me?
Like you're playing hooky at school.
I was going to say that.
Hey, were you?
Yeah, or when you get a substitute teacher, and you think, this is just a breeze, like.
Oh, we're on the same brainwave. Wow, I didn't think you were going to say that at all.
I know, right?
It does, though. It feels different. It feels like you wake up and it's just a little out of the ordinary. It's like a rainy day schedule.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like that feeling.
You're not going to be doing a regular show.
And there's something about a Friday. It just feels great. I love it.
Yeah. And you guys, if you want to call up and get your health questions answered, please feel free to do that. 949-505-9585. You can call up and chat with us. We'd love to talk with all of you guys that are in the chat room and that are listening live. We'd love to have you do that. You can talk about anything. And so the goal would be, if you were to call up with a particular health ailment or anything you want to talk about, we could talk about these things. And then through our forum and through our Facebook site and through us and other members listening at the moment, we can hopefully help you with your health condition. So that's the idea, is kind of pool together all of our knowledge. So that's 949-505-9585. And our shows are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. And there you go. Oh, I was going to say, if you want to support us.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people do this purchasing through Amazon, and that's a huge help to us. Huge help. So if you go to extremehealthradio.com/Amazon before you make any purchases there, and if you do that every single time you make a purchase, it really helps us a lot.
You can just bookmark the page, right?
I think you can bookmark the page, yeah.
Because I know, like, my family, when they purchase things, sometimes they're like, we don't know if we're through your link, because it doesn't look any different than when you go to a normal Amazon store, but
it just looks
like Amazon.
Amazon.com.
But you just go to extremehealthradio.com/Amazon and just assume that they did it right?
Yeah. Okay. And the best way is just to remember to do that every single time, and we'll make a little percentage.
Because, man, does it really make a difference? I mean, it's not a huge percentage, but when we get enough people supporting us that way, it's a big help to us.
It's a big deal. And it's a cool thing, too, if you can't really afford to donate or purchase any of the higher ticket items on our store.
Yet you are going to shop anyway and buy things. Yeah,
if you're going to go buy electronics or whatever it is you're going to buy, you can still support us that way. So it's a cool thing.
We really appreciate it, because we did mention, I think, on the last Free-for-All that we are going to need to upgrade our hosting. And to be honest, I mean, we're not rolling in it by any means. So we need we need help. We need everybody. This is a joint effort to keep it free and keep us going. Cause
you know how much that hosting is going to be?
$350 a month.
$350.
And what are we paying now?
$10.
Not
$10.50. $10.
Golly, that's a lot.
Yeah, because remember we had our site down, right, for a couple of days?
Yeah, that was interesting.
And that's never a good thing.
No.
And you know what's cool, too, about this new hosting company is that they'll protect you from hackers and that kind of thing. And they do daily backups, and it's really worth it. But
do they have specific protection against the American Medical Association?
They block all
and the FDA
incoming traffic from the FDA, the AMA, ADA, ADHD, people with ADHD.
ADD. Just kidding.
We block all of them.
That's horrible. No, which is not true.
Not true. So yeah, call up 949-505-9585 if you'd like to join the show. We've got lots of listener questions, lots to get to today. So perhaps we should just take a station break, right?
Okay.
Let's do that, and we'll be right back. I have been a huge fan of rebounding for many, many years, and if you want to get in great cardiovascular shape, tone your legs, back, and butt, and stomach, as well as cleanse your lymphatic system from toxins and chemicals, you just have to start rebounding. It's imperative. And not only will it create endorphins that quickly become addictive to you, but it's very low impact as well. It helps to prevent sicknesses and diseases, as well as increase bone density, and it flushes toxins from your lymphatic system. It's amazing. And not only that, but it's a ton of fun also. I do it every single day for about 15 minutes. And we found the best rebounder on the market today in the world, bar none. It's called the Bellicon Rebounder. It's the Rolls-Royce of rebounders, in my opinion. And let's listen to some of what our guests have had to say about rebounding. Robert von Sarbacher is a health researcher and creator of the Mini Beat Protocol. And Robert, what's your favorite exercise?
In general, probably one of the number one anti-aging exercises on the planet is rebounding. So 15 minutes a day is good for that. You can find people who have had thermography scans on cancers, giant tumors, and when they're doing a rebounder, it would start spewing out and shrinking right in front of your eyes, the tumor would, as they're on the rebounder. So it's really good for that sort of thing. It's also very good for exercising internal organs. It's the only internal organ exerciser that I know of known to man.
Dr. Lindsay Duncan is the CEO and founder of Genesis Today. And what's the best way that you think of to stimulate the lymphatic system of the body?
Rebounding is incredible because it's good for the lymphatic system, and there's more lymph fluid in the body than there is blood. And the quickest way and the most effective way to get the lymphatic system flowing is through rebounding itself.
Yeah, because the lymphatic system can't really detox itself, can it? I think
No, the heart, we have the heart, thank you, for pumping blood. And we don't have a heart to pump lymphatic fluid. The only thing that really can pump lymphatic fluid is cardiovascular exercise utilizing the thighs, the thigh muscles. And that's why rebounding and getting a burn in that thigh muscle is so important for the flow and the stimulation of the lymphatic fluid.
Wow, and they even put cancer patients on rebounding, don't they?
Nutritionists do.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but not a conventional doctor. But yeah, I've been learning about rebounding lately. It's quite an amazing thing.
Yeah, rebounding's amazing.
Health researcher and author of Cancer Step Outside the Box, Ty Bollinger. What do you do in your life to prevent cancer?
What do you do to treat cancer? What do you do to prevent it? Rebounding is something that I try to do on a daily basis. A little mini trampoline for those people that aren't familiar with the term rebounding, but it's basically just jumping up and down on a little mini tramp. What that does is it stimulates the lymphatic system. Lymphatic system is one of our primary detoxification systems in our body, and most folks don't stimulate their lymph flow, and so the toxicity in their body builds up because their lymph is not stimulated, and the up-down motion on a rebounder stimulates the lymph flow better than just about any other exercise. So I do that almost on a daily, probably 5 days a week, I would say I average doing that.
And finally, author and speaker and creator of the Longevity Now program, David Wolf. Do you think the Bellicon is the best rebounder on the market today?
Absolutely. I was just with the crew in Europe that does the Bellicon Rebounder, which is an incredible rebounder. My God, what a machine. And it doesn't use metal springs. It uses like flexi ropes. So it's very soft and fun, and it's just great to play with.
Well, there you have it. The up and down G-force actually stimulates every single cell in your body. It's incredible. And as someone who works out in the gym a lot and does Qigong, I think that the best physical aerobic exercise, in my opinion, is rebounding. It's just absolutely incredible for the human body. And the Bellicon is silent, and it comes with a warranty, and you can get them in several different sizes and colors, and some of them have bars that you can hold on to in case you're worried about balance. It's a well worth it investment in your health and in your future. So check them out in our store if you'd like, or you can check out the videos on extremehealthradio.com/Bellicon. Again, that's extremehealthradio.com/Bellicon. That's B as in boy, ELLICON.
Listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join the show now on Skype at Extreme Health Radio or call 949-505-9585. Hello. That's 949-505-9585.
Okay, you might be the fastest smoothie maker this side of the Colorado River.
That's great.
Like that?
I think I am. I won the Smoothie Queen Award.
I had no idea where I was going there. But
I didn't either, but I liked it.
I think of some landmark that made sense to people.
Colorado River. It could have been like Mount Rushmore, or it could have been like the White House, but it was the Colorado River.
I'm pretty impressed with you.
Thank you.
So what do you make there? You got a little smoothie you make?
This is the best. I look forward to my days. I go to bed dreaming, like so excited, thinking about what I'm going to eat the next day.
I know, you told me that last night.
I'm really in this like phase where I just can't get enough good food. It's all amazing things, and I used to be such a foodie.
Right.
I would think like, oh, tomorrow I get to go out to pasta with friends, or I get to go drink wine, or I get to go have a cheese party. Now it's like, ooh, I can have some One World Whey and make a smoothie. Then I can have some like organic chicken salad. Then I can eat a handful of raw medjool dates. Then I can, and it keeps going and going. But yeah, I put One World Whey in there, a scoop of that, vanilla.
You do one scoop or two?
One. Half an avocado, a fourth of a banana to keep it kind of low sugar.
Okay.
5 big frozen strawberries, a couple blueberries, a little splash of vanilla extract, and a packet of stevia, and whip that thing up.
You put water or coconut water?
Oh, I'm sorry, and coconut water.
Oh, that's got
Watch this. You want to try it?
Thank God this is a Free-for-all Friday show. That wouldn't go over with the guests too well, would it?
That's true. I'm going to hold on there if Tana Vitale's. Actually, he would probably think it's funny, but
yeah, he'd probably laugh.
Some people so serious wouldn't think so.
We don't have any colostrum to put in that, did we? We ran out.
No, but I do love that colostrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That the One World Way really doesn't make that, doesn't it?
Oh.
It just makes the whole thing.
We have it on like reorder now all the time. We can't we that's our main staple. That and avocados is, and coconut probably are our main staples these days. And even though the One World Way is so expensive, in my opinion, there's nothing like it. I do not react to it. I react to every protein powder I've ever ate before. But
remember, we both reacted to the Sun Warrior.
I know, which sucked because I loved it, but it just wasn't.
Yeah,
it was the rice.
It was
protein?
The rice brand. Yeah, crazy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
I love that those smoothies. I'm going to make one of those after the show.
You're not going to be sorry. Were you supposed to talk about the Bellicon?
The Bellicon, that's right. See,
we're off our A game today.
We just get chit-chatting. The Bellicon, I was thinking it would be a great thing for people wanting to get in shape. This whole thing of getting in beach body or whatever, the summertime, people wanting to lose weight, spring clean and that kind of thing. Bellicon's a great thing for that. Because it really tones all of the muscles in your body.
Yeah.
So it's pretty incredible thing.
I know I've said this before, but I used to think of it as such like an 80s like workout thing. Like,
oh, I know.
Ladies with leg warmers and headbands and stuff.
I know.
But I love, if you look up Bellicon and even go to our site and you watch some videos on it, it makes it look cool. Like,
yeah.
They're these really killer looking, like you're at a CrossFit type gym thing. Like, they're all modern and amazing.
Really
and I
cool.
enjoy it. I mean, that thing is so bouncy.
It's like a regular trampoline. I mean, it's not like a little spring rebounder with springs. It's
right, and that's the difference because we had one of the other ones for so long.
Yeah,
and when we got this thing, it was like heaven.
You feel it on your joints. Those other ones, I tell you.
Yeah,
and especially with me with my bad knee, I couldn't do it.
Right, I know you. Yeah, I know your poor knee was acting up.
Yeah, I could not do it. And I think remember I was having those pains in my knee that would act up, and I think it was because
are those gone?
Those are gone. I don't know if it's gone because we changed rebounders or. I mean, it could be. I haven't had those pains at all in my knee.
You know what? Now that I haven't heard you talk about that.
Because I was doing the rebounder for about 20 minutes a day on those cheapo rebounders, and they're really jarring on your joints. And so this thing, I think it's something like 90% of the impact or 70-80% of the impact on your joints are gone.
It's just completely dismissed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
while you talk for a second, I'm going to put my smoothie in the freezer.
Ooh.
Okay, I got to make it thick so at the next commercial it'll be perfect.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay,
it's
cool.
9:44.
9:44. So I wanted to tell everyone about the winner of the Morocco Method products that we were giving away. We're giving away $168 worth of raw, organic, wild-crafted, vegan hair care products developed by Anthony Morocco. And that was the actual giveaway for last month, which was March, right? Yeah, March. And so the winner of that, according to our software that randomly picks a winner, is Ashley O.
Nice.
And what we'll do is we'll email her and we'll send her a notification. And I think she has 3 days to respond.
Nice.
And if we don't hear back from her within 3 days, was it 24, 48, 72 hours from the time that we email her, then we'll pick another winner. But it's pretty cool. It's
That's awesome.
Yeah, $168 worth of awesome hair care products.
Nice, Ashley.
Yeah. So if you want to listen to the show we did,
be stoked.
Do you remember what show we did with Anthony Morocco?
Oh gosh, no. But let's put a link to him.
Yeah, you can buy his stuff. We have his conditioners and his shampoo. We really love his stuff. I forget what show number Anthony Morocco is. If you go to Google and type Extreme Health Radio and then space Anthony Morocco, it should give you the number.
I'm looking it up right now.
But if you want to buy his stuff and are interested in getting some really top of the line hair care products for yourself that I don't think you're going to find anywhere else, it's extremehealthradio.com/MM for Morocco Method, 2 M's. So extremehealthradio.com/MM. And we've been having a lot of people purchase through that link and then tell us that they're just loving it. So
196. Yeah, and you know what? When our friend Bo was here, those 2.5 weeks that I keep talking about, she gave the Morocco method a shot, and it takes a little while to get used to, but
awesome.
Yeah, because it doesn't sud. But
it doesn't do the suds. Yeah.
We have a call.
Hi, this is Justin and Kate. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Justin and Kate. It's Hayden from Canada.
Hayden!
How's it going?
We're just thawing out here, so it's almost bikini weather in Canada. So.
Bikini weather, huh? I've got my bikini going.
Oh, I thought you had a Speedo.
Well, he has that too, but sometimes he gets a little more creative.
Yeah, sometimes I have a two-piece, but, you know.
I think Speedos were designed for California.
Oh, my goodness.
I think you're right. How the heck are you?
Oh, well, I was just calling to see if I could pick your brains. You asked for a caller, so I thought I'd sort of chime in here and see if I could access your immense knowledge.
Well, we hope we don't let you down, but chime away.
Yeah, a couple of things. Justin, your interview with the one gentleman with I forget what his name was, but just a couple days ago on the emotional releasing of stuff.
Oh, Jonathan Tripodi, yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering, have you or Kate done any kind of work in terms of like emotional release at all?
Emotional release? No, we haven't done any. What we do is we do some meditation, things like that. We've done.
The only
we have done.
The only exposure I've had is working a little bit with Bradley Nelson from the Emotion Code.
That's right.
When we had him on, and we both read his book, and I'm learning how to kind of work with on my own, releasing those emotions. It's pretty powerful, but to be honest, I haven't delved in as much as I have wanted to. And when I heard that show too, it's something that I thought, wow, this is something I really need to explore deeper.
We've done a little bit of tapping. Have you ever tried the tapping?
Actually, EFT was how I actually ended up getting involved with Chris Kaler out here in Canada. So.
Oh, EFT. That's okay. Right.
Yeah, the emotional freedom technique.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you still do that?
Well, what happened was I had a friend who was into neuro-linguistic programming. He was telling me about this crazy thing called EFT. This is probably back in 2007. I said, what's it supposed to do? And I said, well, it could work on anything. I said, well, tell you what, I'm going to bring my blood meter. I have type 2 diabetes.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to see if it could lower my blood sugars. And he said, okay. And, after my first round of tapping, we tested my sugars, and about 2007, I was being threatened with being put on kidney dialysis by my allopathic doctor.
Oh, my goodness.
And I didn't want to do that. My sugars were extremely high, and after one round of tapping, my sugars actually went down by 2 points.
Oh, my gosh.
Seriously, one round of tapping.
One round of tapping, I said, we both looked at each other, and we said, okay, this is crazy. And then they said, well, what if we do another one? And so we did another one, and lo and behold, it went down another point.
Isn't that wild?
Holy moly.
Wow.
So prior to that, for the last 2 years, this is before I was doing anything healthy. I was eating pizza and playing video games. I was in pretty dire shape. I was close to 300 pounds, and I had no inkling whatsoever. So that once I saw that the tapping had worked, it opened up my mind to say, okay, well, what else is possible if I could do that with some crazy finger work touching my meridian points on my head?
Yeah.
Right. And so that it really did open the door for you to be able to receive some of the wacky things that Chris Kaler does, right?
Well, I don't know if I totally still understand everything Chris is doing because, like I said, he's out of the box. But one of the things I wanted to make the comparison on that a lot of healers and people who do Reiki and quantum touch and all that is, and I've sort of come to this understanding myself of that, our subconscious minds, we always say that when we can't handle something, it goes into the subconscious mind.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always tried to understand that more. So what exactly is the subconscious mind? And we say we have consciousness, but if we're overstimulated or overloaded, it goes into our subconscious. Well, just from that standpoint, wouldn't it make sense that these things that go into our subconscious mind hold a measurement, hold a unit of energy?
Right.
And just from that premise alone, it would make sense with the work that Chris does, that, okay, well, if that's where our energy is being stored on these quote-unquote subconscious levels, wouldn't it be honest to say that these little bodies or whatever they are actually are consciousness in itself? And that, so if I had a memory of falling on my bike when I was 5 years old and I got traumatized by that, and I put that in my subconscious mind, well, that thought, that memory still has life to itself. And therefore, in a way, it's a live entity, just not on a 3D dimensional level.
And you know what's interesting, too, about that whole subconscious thing? It's weird how, when we were talking with Jonathan Tripodi, I never really got that point to him about how it is a live thing. And I wonder if it can change and morph in terms of where it's placed in the body, like those kinds of traumas. I wonder if, one day it could be in your liver and the next day it could be in your knee or, different parts of the body. I bet it's true.
Oh, well, that's exactly what Chris deals with, is that these memories can actually shift, these energy points can shift. So he was dealing with someone the other day who was having an issue in their stomach, and it was, for the last 25 years, it was on the right side of their stomach, and then all of a sudden, upon doing his work, it shifted to the left side.
Isn't that wild? And were they thinking anything different, or were they stressed at that moment?
No. Well, you see, with Chris's work, you don't actually have to go into the conscious memory of it. Unlike something like meditation or EFT, because EFT works on emotional intensity. They say that when you raise your emotional intensity to that point, and you're actually doing something physical, just by doing something physical, it's created an association or energetic point that it can be manipulated with. So hence, even by just manipulating, you can actually change the energy output of it.
That's just crazy. Yeah, it's wild.
Oh, man.
I noticed Chris's site is back online. I was checking, I think, yesterday, and it looked like it was back online.
You know what? He's got that from several other people in terms of not being able to contact him. I don't know if it's Health Canada or someone getting to him, but I'm just thinking what it is his website developer is a new guy, and I know you probably know this, Justin, but when I was taught websites, you're supposed to be able to try it on 3 different browsers. So
right.
That was the case that was looked at, but maybe it's his energy. Like you had that one show where he was on and it did something to your internet connection.
I know, that was pretty crazy.
That was trippy, yeah.
Hey, Kate, didn't you get an email from Chris the other day about diabetes?
Yeah, I actually was just emailing him right now as Hayden called, because I go, hey, we're online talking with Hayden on our live show about you, and asked him if he'd want to come in and talk about that, because he thinks he's figured out a lot of ways to really get some major progress with diabetes. Have you worked with him on that? On personally on that, Hayden?
Well, that's funny you mentioned that, because I am a type 2 diabetic, and this is the first time I'm hearing about it. So Chris is constantly coming up with so many new things. He is just busy all the time. I don't always get a chance to talk to him. So it's funny you're giving me the breaking news on that.
I'm fascinated. Like he was so excited to say, like, hey, I'm making huge progress. So I don't know what that means, and I don't know, but he sounded very excited to share it. So it'd be really cool
to do a show with him on that.
Yeah, we should. And if are you still struggling with? I mean, once you're a type 2 diabetic, are you always, or do you think that there might be a way to overcome that completely?
Well, let me share my story on that, because actually that was actually one of the questions I wanted to kind of ask you about. And back in 2007, before juice fasting was hip, I had found a guy named John Rose. I think I told you the story last time I called, and he had told me this whole concept of juice fasting. And I went on a 40-day juice fast, and I lost 60 pounds, and a lot of my symptoms just reversed completely.
Huh.
And, I mean, I don't want to say too much that will implicate me, but basically I was kind of not on all the meds I should be taking. I was on quite a lot.
Uh-huh.
I had reduced that quite considerably. And just recently what happened was I had to get a new blood machine to test my blood sugars. And I think my old machine was faulty, because the numbers I was getting on my older machine was a lot lower than the newer machine. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? So they've been pretty darn high as of late. So I've been trying to control it. I've been doing more greens and Because I mean, I've slipped on and off. I'm not, completely 100% of anything. Ideally, I would like to go into raw food, but once I get the pizza out of the way, for example. So.
And plus, doing raw up in Canada, that's got to be a little bit more challenging, right?
Yeah, it is very challenging, and that's why the way I discovered your show was actually, Justin, this is kind of funny, but I was big into watching a lot of stuff on YouTube for raw food authors and stuff like that, and I came across your videos, and I think you had Deborah Lynn Dad on your show, who was talking about toxicity, because at that point I had removed a lot of the chemicals from not just from my diet, but from like beauty products and cleaning products. So
yeah, she was great.
Yeah, and actually, I don't know if you don't even remember this, Justin, but actually, I had to kind of twist your arm a bit to get Chris on your show.
I don't remember that. Wow.
Yeah, you kind of, I had said, I got this guy who does this energy medicine, because I wanted to see Chris do a show with someone who was health-minded, because the problem is the work he does, it gets thrown into the realm of a lot of like
spiritual
psychics and fortune telling and tarot reading.
Right.
And I thought, well, what about for health? And it was really kind of hard for me to kind of look to see who would do a show. So when we conversed, I think you kind of gave me a little bit of a line there saying, well, you were too busy. And I said, but you have to get this guy on the show. He will change the paradigm of how you see health, and you guys have really run with it. So
I know I'm so glad that we did, because he's just amazing. He's constantly getting emails from people that are talking about his shows and finding his shows for the first time. I think he's been on 3 or 4 times now, and people are still finding him, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you picture, a wheel on a bike and the spokes on the wheel, and each spoke represents a modality of health, prosperity. I mean, changing your diet, supplements, positive thinking, and throw on that one of those spokes, energy medicine. I think it's just a holistic way of looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
definitely. I do too. I remember the first time I worked with Chris Kaler after we had him on the show. It was so funny. He said, I had a great time with you guys. That was exactly the kind of platform I was kind of looking to talk about, because he was like, I was on a couple weeks prior talking to these 2 ladies who had a podcast in Louisiana, and the minute they started their show, it was like, so what kind of witchcraft are you into? And he's like, I think I might not be the right guest to talk about this. But you're right. I think though he can be misunderstood, and he's kind of like in a no man's category. So it's fascinating to have him on the show, especially when so many people with health conditions are finding out that it's so much more than just this woo woo kind of out there modality.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, one of the things that kind of merges his work now with health, and you guys talked about this too, about getting rid of your TV.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
I had heard of an author or a speaker named Janice Barcelo. I don't know if that name rings a bell, but
yeah, she's actually been on our show a while back.
Oh, she has been. Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
she had talked about dark entities in the media that even if you're not consciously aware, I mean, back to the whole idea of subconscious, they can put stuff in the media that is quite dark. I mean, I'm talking like demons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty fascinating lady. I forget what episode she was on, but we'll put a link to that. But oh my gosh, she has some things to say.
Was she the one that was talking about the babies at the hospital with all the blood and all that?
The blood and the umbilical cord and what they do with the blood.
Very satanic. Wow.
The sacrifice and all that.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, she did a show. I don't know the name of it, but it was basically on that very thing, on satanic indoctrination on TV, and how the media will actually put subliminals on TV with actual like pictures of dark things. And when I saw this interview, I guess she did, it was just like, whoa, I'm like, so you guys had talked about one time about when we watch TV, what are we doing? Like all this stuff accumulates with you, know?
It does. Definitely, doesn't it?
And I haven't watched TV in now probably going on 11 years now. Mm-hmm. But I mean, what is that doing to our health when we're exposed to that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that the more people that watch TV the more they're going to need people like Chris Kaler to do the kind of work that he does. Because I'm convinced that watching this stuff, even if there's nothing subliminally going on, I think that there's still a subconscious programming going on that radically just affects your life in horrific ways, you know. And I don't think it's possible to really be healthy and to live a successful life if you watch, you know, hours and hours of TV a day. I just don't think it's possible.
Yeah, I totally agree. And not only that, but something else I came across was a documentary on some of the great arts, like stuff by can't remember the name is flipping mind, but you know, some of the great artists of our time, and how even in something like The Last Supper, there's actually
and Da Vinci and stuff like that.
Yeah, Da Vinci. There's actually subliminal demons painted into that picture.
I've heard that, Hayden.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've seen some of the photos of that. And if you do some
that's a trip.
YouTube searching, you can find stuff like that. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, there was a documentary on YouTube I did see about that, but sure enough, it's been taken off YouTube's site.
Oh, has it really?
Yeah, if you like, I could actually send it to you guys.
Oh, I'd love that.
I would love that. Yeah, that would be really fast. I'm really interested in that kind of stuff. Even though I don't watch the news and I don't watch TV, I just find it fascinating what level they're going to try to control the population. I think it's pretty fascinating.
Well, I gotta share something really weird with you. I don't watch TV, but I actually have an old. I hope you guys are too young to remember this, but I have a 20-inch analog TV, like it's this giant box of a TV.
Yeah, with the rabbit ears.
Yeah, I guess so. The rabbit ears.
I love it.
But I don't like. It's called full screen. The size of the TV. It's a 4:3 ratio. But I don't like watching widescreen TV, which is the way TVs are now. They're the rectangular shaped TVs.
Right.
Because I find it just totally captures my peripherals, and I feel like whatever I'm watching, I can't get away with it. And it's even worse now because every movie coming out is in 3D. So what are they putting in these movies that, you know, that they need to have my peripherals for?
Yeah, there's a big deal with that peripheral vision that I'm learning more, but seems to be coming up more and more. People are talking about it. It's a big deal to. I got to look more into that. Have you heard much about that whole peripheral vision thing?
I've heard of a book, 4 Reasons to Stop Watching Television or something like that. But basically, it goes into the science of exactly why you shouldn't watch. I could send you that link too if you'd like.
Yeah, you know what, that book, I've known about that book for about 20, 15 years now, and I've never read it. By Jerry Mander, I think it is, right?
You're probably right.
Yeah, I've been wanting to read that. Have you read it? It sounds amazing.
You know, I guess because I've stopped watching TV, I just figured, well, I guess I don't need that.
There you go. You don't need a book like that, do you?
Although I got to share a story with you. I'm talking. I mean, I occasionally watch a movie. I just watched this one movie. It was like a gladiator type movie, and it was in 3D. And I try to avoid 3D movies if I can.
Right.
But they didn't have it in regular. And my one friend who's still kind of, you know, stuck on his pizza and video games and fantasy world, and he wanted to see this movie. So we go to see this movie, and the 3D will accentuate whatever they want to accentuate. So all throughout this movie, the only thing you saw was blood being thrown your way.
Right.
And after I left that movie, I just felt so energetically drained.
Wow. That's amazing. It's amazing, too, because most people don't feel like that, and I think it's because they've completely lost touch with their spirit and their body.
And the sad part is every kid's movie now is going to be 3D.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is going that route. And, you know, I found it really interesting. I was taking a road trip the other day with a friend to Phoenix, and we're out in the middle of this open highway stretch with just nothing but cactus and all this stuff. And, you know, a lot of trucks and stuff are hauling down the highway. And all of a sudden, the opposite side of the freeway was backed up, and we look over, and there's just a whole group of Harley Davidson riders that were all off their bikes, and they had like ran into a ditch to help one of their friends that was on the ground. I don't know if he had a heart attack or hit something, but it looked bad. And I thought, wow, it was the kind of thing though where it hit me as like, this doesn't even look real to me anymore. I was like, oh, that's horrible, but it almost seemed like a movie in my brain. It's like I realized how far removed, you know, when we kind of went on, and instead of being super upset about it for a while, I thought that's really sad, said a prayer and moved on. But it's just funny how I was surprised that I didn't even feel more like I used to feel before. I'd been so programmed by all the violence and all this.
Movies have desensitized.
I really do. It's like you just, on a subconscious level, I think it definitely blurs that barrier between reality and just acting anymore. And that's what's even scarier to me, you know? And cars are hauling by, not a lot of people stopping. And I thought, wow, like, it's probably because we're so used to, like you said, Hayden, seeing blood and guts and car crashes and chases. And it's almost like you can't process that, right? Like we used to anymore, you know?
It's too fast, yeah.
Yeah, totally. It's funny that you say it, because I know you say you guys haven't watched TV in a while, but I mean, I don't know if you guys have heard of these reality shows they make.
Yeah.
I mean, I kid you not, there's a reality show about garbage men.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, my gosh. You got to find some pretty entertaining
I did not
garbage
know
men
that.
to be able to pull that off.
What is this?
But you got to think about the mindset of you come home from working and then you're watching reality TV. I mean, think about that for a second.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, that is just skewing the lines between fantasy and reality. I actually watched this one movie. Have you guys probably heard of this one, probably through osmosis, The Hunger Games?
Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah.
We actually saw the first one in the theater. That's the last movie I went to.
Yeah, that's the last movie we went to, the first one, yeah.
That was probably the most disturbing thing I have ever watched.
Mm-hmm.
Kids killing each other.
I know, isn't that just amazing?
It really messes with it. That one really messed with me, too. I thought that hit too close to home for a few reasons. And not only was it that, because I totally agree with you, it was also like, wow, is this what the world's coming to? Like, one day, is that going to be us? Is this how sick everything is getting? Like, it's pretty trippy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you also mentioned, like, emotions, how you didn't sort of emotionally react. I'm just kind of noticing now that the younger generation, they seem kind of almost emotionally mute. There's no personality. There's no, no one screams like a kid anymore. It's just kind of like they're just sort of zombified,
That's a great way to put that. I sadly agree.
Yeah, it's and I think that as this happens more and more, because now the people are going to be walking around with iPads and computers and Google Glasses and all these things, I think there's going to be more of a need for people doing energetic medicine, people like Chris, people doing Reiki, people doing this kind of stuff, because it's like we talked about earlier, it's getting stored somehow in the body and it's doing something.
It's sticking somewhere, yeah.
That's doing something.
Yeah, I guess so, because you got to take care of your I don't know what to call it, dimensional body health, I guess.
That's a good way to put that. Yeah, and I'm interested to do more of that work too. I mean, that's funny you brought that up, because that's something that I've been talking to a lot with a friend recently about, the emotional clearing and healing that I really do need to look into. And once I read that book by Bradley Nelson, I've been curious ever since. It's just purely a time and logistics kind of thing for me. But I'm really glad that you brought that up, because it's kind of like when I start hearing it more, I get these nudges from God or the universe to go down that path. So thanks for that, Hayden.
Yeah, I didn't mean to necessarily go down the road of the strange state, because I did actually have some legit, 3D world questions.
No, I love it. It's all good stuff.
Well, thanks for calling in, Hayden. I really appreciate that.
Oh, would I be able to ask my questions?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I said, we took a little detour there, but I guess I'm associated with Chris, so it's understandable. So, bringing it back to the diabetes, and you guys probably heard about this. Have you heard that diabetes are related to your emotional, like I guess they say it's a lack of sweetness in your life?
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, definitely.
And I totally believe that. And the path I went on, like I said, I did the juice fast. I changed my diet up for a bit, and I got pretty good, but I feel like I've sort of hit a milestone in terms of I'm eating the healthier food now, but my sugars just aren't getting better. They're staying like at maybe a couple points higher than they should, and it's like, okay, what is the barrier here? And I could totally tell you right now, it's definitely the emotional stuff that I haven't dealt with that is creeping up on me.
Wow. Yeah.
And
I suspect that it probably depends too on your emotional state as you eat too, right?
Oh, well, when I would eat, I would have the TV on, and generally speaking, when you eat something like bad, like a takeout pizza, you have to have something to watch, because it almost distracts you from how bad it actually is.
Right. Yeah.
And so what I wanted to ask you guys, that's why I need to pick your brains, is have you come across anyone else in terms of like diabetic experts or anyone that has done anything in terms of diabetes, in terms of really making some headway on it.
And you're talking about more about type 2, not type 1, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, you know who's been doing some good work is what is his name we interview? Dr. Robert Rowan?
Oh, Dr. Robert Rowan.
Okay.
He's been doing some really good work with diabetes. And I forget what his name, we've interviewed him, but I forget what his website is. Dr. Rowan?
Yeah, I'll look it up right here.
Dr. Robert Rowan. But then also there's a really good book. You probably heard about this one from Gabriel Cousins.
Yeah, I actually have the movie they did.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Do you think that there's merit to that kind of diet that he's promoting on that?
Actually, one of the 6 subjects in the movie, he was actually a type 1 diabetic, and he was off his insulin.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Type 1, that's unheard of.
Yeah, upon further investigation, they found out that he was a type 1. Now, my question was, I would like to see a part 2 to that documentary where it's like 5 or 6 years later to see who's actually kept the diet, are they on a protocol of whether they're still taking insulin, or are there any meds? But I don't, I do believe in the cleansing process in terms of juice fasting and raw food and cleaning up your diet and stay away from, chemically, doused foods. However, I want to see a good long-term study where it's like, okay, 6 years later, this person is no longer on insulin, no longer medications, and they're still, even though the allopathic world might consider them a type 2 diabetic.
Right.
That's where I feel like they fail. A lot of things just totally are riveting, and then all of a sudden you never hear. I hate when you can't get a follow-up to
something like that.
Something like that huge.
Yeah, that's a big documentary. They really should do a part 2, like you said. I've thought about that myself too. Where are these people now?
Right.
Yeah.
Have you read that book?
Yeah.
What's that book called too that we have? You Can Cure Diabetes, or
Oh yeah, There Is a Cure.
There's a Cure. Is that any help? Have you read that?
I haven't read that, no, but I know that, and Hayden's read it. He's you have it.
Did I miss that?
Yeah.
Got it.
Or you watched a documentary, Hayden, or did you read that book?
I did both.
Oh,
okay.
Interesting.
And have you followed a lot of the principles in that, do you think?
Well, being in Canada, I can't necessarily get some of the superfoods, that they would have in Arizona where his retreat is, but I've tried to do pretty close. I mean, I've cut out a lot of the chemicals, and I've cut out a lot of the junk food and stuff like that. I'm trying to get my brain addicted to eating health food, because I just realized now that even though if I eat a slice of pizza, I could get away with it, but the problem is because it's a chemical, it still addicts my mind. So I literally just stay away from it so it won't addict my mind.
Interesting. And there's also a product that I know it might help. You might want to look into it from Vitality Herbs and Clay. It's called Blood Sugar Balance. And Michael King, he's been on our show a couple times, and he's got this really cool product called Blood Sugar Balance. And there's also, what's that? There's another herb. What is the herb for?
Blood balancing.
Yeah, blood sugar balancing. I forget what the herb is. Oh, I forget. It basically allows someone to drink. They could even drink like a can of Coke.
Oh, wow.
And it will stabilize their blood sugar almost immediately. I forget what the herb.
Will you find it and put a link to it?
Yeah, could you put a little note there?
Herb for blood balance.
It's got a specific funny name that I forget what the name of it is, but
that sounds good. Hey, Hayden, somebody wrote into the chat room and wants to ask you a question.
Sure.
They asked if you ever get cavities personally from juice fasting. They wanted to see if people get teeth problems while doing that.
I've never had a issue with cavities. However, I have heard people who do raw food diets having teeth issues, and what I've heard the correlation with that was the lack of the vitamin B's and other vitamins that they were missing in their diet. Now, I know how you guys are you're talking today about a gentleman who lives out in the forest and basically survives that way, but nature has it so perfect. So, for example, if we think of something like an apple tree, right, the way you know to eat that apple is that apple would fall to the ground when it's ripened.
Right.
Well, once it's fallen to the ground, guess what happens? It falls on some dirt. You pick that apple and you eat it right off the ground. You get your B12 from that dirt. So it's a perfect food.
Right. That's right. That's right.
So you don't even have to even think about it. So I started doing fermented foods with my raw food, because basically in the fermented foods were all the missing vitamins and minerals that were from the raw food diet. So if you think about it, the raw food diet plus fermented foods are really a 1-2 combination in terms of like one fits the other. So ever since I've done that, absolutely no teeth issues whatsoever.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that wild? Did you hear Dr. Young when he was on our show? He talked about how...
Yes, I've known about Dr. Young for a while. I like him a lot. I like what he's saying. He's a little bit strong, but you'll get someone like Dr. Young saying stay away from fruit, but then I know people like Durian, Ryder, and Freely, for example, who live on nothing but fruit, do a high fruit diet, stay away from fat, stay away from, keep it low sodium. And if you see people who do a high fruit diet, they look amazing.
Yeah, they do. And I know about their work, 30 bananas a day. And yeah, it's pretty interesting, because I thought that was really fascinating what Dr. Young was talking about in terms of the acids that are formed from the fermenting of the food, the cabbage, and all that. It just sounded a little bit, I don't know, something inside me didn't resonate with that. I've learned for so long, and it seems in my own life to be very beneficial to take fermented, cultured foods. I just didn't resonate.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Yeah, I have to agree with you, Justin, because one of the things Chris taught me is you want to use your heart and mind. What seems right. And to be honest with you, I like Dr. Young, but that interview really rubbed me the wrong way with the fact when he said that. I was like, what? Because I'm drinking a kombucha probably 3 times a week.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting, huh? Everyone's got their own sort of set of principles, don't they?
I like, you've probably heard of Phil McCluskey.
Yeah, we've had him on the show. He's great. I love that guy.
I love his attitude, because what happened was, I think probably back in 2009, 2010, a lot of the raw food authors were coming out, and we had Dr. Young saying stay away from, greens, and you had Dr. What's his name there? I forget his name there, but he does the high fruit or the 80-20 diet. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah. We had him on the show, too. What's his name? Dr. What is his name? He wrote 80-10-10.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's forgetting me, but he does basically a lot of high fruit and, stays away from fats. Then you've got someone like Dr. Brian Clement out in Florida, who does lots of wheatgrass and says to stay away from fruit as well. Then you've got Dan McDonald, the Life Regenerator, who says stay away from anything that is cooked, or try and keep it as raw as possible, so not even using a dehydrator. You've got some will say stay away from avocados. So what I like about Philip McCluskey was he basically said, look, I don't know which philosophy is right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my diet entirely raw. I'll eat 2 pounds of cashews in a day, but it has to be raw cashews.
Right.
And that was basically the road, the path that led to Rome, essentially, and made him lose like 250 pounds or whatever.
Yeah, he's got an incredible story.
So yeah, I try to maintain kind of that raw mentality that, okay, one might say another, and I respect their opinion on that. And maybe that's what got them to where they were. But I think that's just the abundance of nature, that we can go down so many roads as long as it's a natural road. I think it's very telling that there's not just, it's kind of like it goes against the pharmaceutical and the allopathic doctor industry, is that they try to promote one way of doing it when nature could provide so many ways of healing yourself.
Yeah. And that author Kate just found of the 80-10-10 who's been on our show was Dr. Doug Graham.
Right.
And then someone in the chat room says bitter melon is really good for diabetics. Have you tried the bitter melon?
No, I have not. That's some great feedback. I will definitely look into that too.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a supplement that someone can get, or if it's actually like the juicing of the melon rind, or what.
I don't know. I asked them if they tried it themselves, and they said they've heard really great things about it. They know Drew Cannoli likes it a lot, but it tastes really bad, and they haven't tried it yet. But they said it's very good for diabetics.
Yeah, you mentioned someone in the chat room also mentioned asked whether or not I know about Dan McDonald. Yeah, I know about him, the Life Regenerator, and you mentioned him, Hayden. He's doing some good work. A lot of good people out there doing some good things. And I think ultimately what it comes down to is trusting your body and doing some muscle testing and starting to get in tune with the energetics of your body and seeing what you really need, right?
Well, that's why I love your show, because you explore all the different hats of healing. You know, you don't just say, okay, well, we're going to stick with just raw food, you know. Well, and there's a paleo, and there's, you know, the, what's his name? The Weston Price diet. You know?
Oh, right. Yeah, there's so many good things, and it's funny because they all sound so convincing and they all sound so good, but ultimately what it comes down to is when you're in that kitchen and no one else is around and you open that fridge and you see something that someone told you is bad, are you going to eat it or are you going to not eat it? And are you going to make that action based on your own intuition, or are you going to make that action based on the words that are in your head from whoever said that thing? And if it's of the latter, I don't think that even if it's a good food, if you're making a decision from what someone else said, I think it somehow turns energetically not as good for you somehow, some weird way. You know, and
I'm with you.
And so, yeah, trusting your gut, I think, is the ultimate thing. And that's sort of like, you know, what Chris Kaler does. He gets into this energetic stuff. I think that's really the stuff that Jonathan Tripodi was talking about, the body memory. All this stuff is really, I think, the core of everything. I think that, you know, raw food, paleo could be good. And, you know, it could be good at different times of your life.
I was going to say different seasons. I know that's true for me, but
yeah.
Yeah, no, I think if I was stuck on eating a sprout salad every day, I probably wouldn't be too happy.
You'd be a little bit, maybe, a little bit on edge, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, so can I ask my second question?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a friend who's having an issue with his teeth right now, and the dentist basically said he has micro cracks in 2 of his teeth. And I'm just wondering, they're talking about using a crown and enamel replacement on his teeth, something here that's going to cost up to a 5-figure amount, like up in the $10,000 area. Uh-huh. But I'm just wondering, do you know of any sort of way internally that you could fix the teeth?
Yeah, there's lots of different ways. I know that actually what I would do is there's a dental section on our website. You can, someone could listen to all the shows we've done. We've done a handful of shows with dentists, but there's a really good book called Cure Tooth Decay, and it's written by Ramil Nagel. And
okay.
He talks about some really, it's awesome. It's a book that everyone should have just in their bookshelf as a reference, because he goes through all of the foods that damage the teeth and how to remineralize your teeth, the high vitamin butter oil and the vitamin E, the cod liver oil, and he gives this whole protocol of blotting and how to take care of your teeth and special ways to brush. And he really, really great information. We've had him on the show too, but that would be a book I would recommend someone to get. To really get a good reference as to what's going on. But yeah, things like high vitamin butter oil, is fermented cod liver oil. These are all great things for the teeth. Oil pulling with coconut oil is something that I do every day. And
can that actually help to reduce those hairline fractures or cracks in teeth? Do you know if that actually goes in and repairs those?
Well, when you're remineralizing at that point, I believe it can. I've heard of stories.
I feel like I've heard that before.
Yeah, I've never done it myself, but it is. I think any kind of healing is possible.
That book gives you everything, though. It probably addresses all of those in detail, huh?
Yeah, it's really good. And a lot of people that remineralize will do things like they'll get off all fruit and all sugar for a certain amount of time, and then they'll take these oils like the cod liver oil and things. And then what they'll do is they'll also grind up eggshells. They'll take the eggshells and then they'll obviously empty the eggs, but then they'll boil the shells, dry them out, and then powder them down and add that back into the smoothie, because it adds some sort of calcium, phosphorus, magnesium ratio that's really great for the teeth, and all kinds of things to do.
Wow.
Yeah, all kinds of good stuff. And also what we've been doing too lately has been using baking soda, sea salt, And I do a little mixture with that and
hydrogen peroxide.
Food grade hydrogen peroxide, yeah. But a lot of raw foodies are having to do these things these days, aren't they?
You know, knock on wood, I haven't had a lot of the issues I've heard in the raw food world, like especially with the teeth. But I guess that's why I like my fermented foods, because I feel like that almost plays a role in not me having an issue with those teeth. So
yeah, bringing those minerals in, right?
I think so.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, lots of resources. I think it just takes time, especially for those minerals and vitamins to make their way all the way to the sort of outside of your body, which is where your teeth are. It just takes time.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, you guys are a treasure trove of amazing information, and it's like, where else could I turn to get this information other than Extreme Health Radio?
Thank you so much, Hayden. Well,
thanks, Hayden.
Thanks for your work with Chris, and we got to have him on again, so let him know that.
And talk to him about the diabetes. I want to find out what's going on. I wrote him an email and waiting to hear back. So.
Wow, well, that's awesome. Well, thank you guys for helping me out here, and you guys have a great rest of your show here today.
Awesome. Thanks, Hayden.
Thanks,
have
Hayden.
a great one.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Gosh,
that
I
was
love
Hayden from Canada.
Hayden from Canada.
Yeah, right?
He's great.
He's a great guy.
He knows a lot.
Yeah, he does.
That's the thing. Everybody who listens to the show seems to know so much. Like, we all know different things. It's not like we know more than anybody. We just know different things. And that's what's so amazing to me.
Right.
It's pretty crazy.
In the chat room, I hear liver makes the teeth healthy, strong if one is not a vegan. Also, Sonicare toothbrushes to clean the teeth.
I agree. Those Sonicares are amazing.
That's awesome. Liver, liver is supposed to be incredible health food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For a lot of different reasons.
Are you a liver fan?
I am not, but like everything else,
fan?
I'm open to anything. Yeah, but in general, I don't like the taste. If I actually had to eat like liver, eat it, no thank you.
It's no good, huh?
If I took it in capsule form or other ways where I didn't know I was getting it, I'd be okay. But I don't like the flavor at all.
Yeah.
Yuck.
How about raw liver? Want to do that one day?
Yeah. Maybe if I put some One World Whey in it and blend it up.
Vanilla liver.
Ew. Gives me the creeps.
Oh, that would be no good.
Yucky.
I've heard that liver is, some people talk about it as being the ultimate, assuming it comes from a good animal, a good source, grass-fed, raw, all of that. I've heard that liver, in the right form, is the best, most healthy and nutritious superfood on the planet.
Oh, I think I've heard that too.
Yeah.
And that's why people are such a big fan of doing those liver shots, and those, what do you call those? Those organ shots?
Oh, yeah.
Where you blend it up and down the hatch because it resets everything. But I think liver is the main. I think it's better for you than any kind of brain, eyeball, tooth, like whatever you're trying to eat. Yeah. But I have heard the same thing. The liver's the most powerful.
Oh, wow. All right, we're going to take a little break here. We're going to take a little break and do a little Qigong commercial because it's our favorite course. And now we have Bo is now doing Qigong. She got the product. And
that's right.
Yeah, so it's going to be, we're going to hear from her and see how she likes it.
You'll have to have her call in and talk about her experience.
Speaking of energy and all of that from Chris Kaler, this is Qigong is a great thing to consider. So we'll run this ad. We'll be right back after this break. I have to say, I have been absolutely loving this product by Tristan Truscott and Peter Ragnar called Good Morning, Good Evening Qigong. If you want to listen to the interview we did with Tristan, you can go to extremehealthradio.com/127. And Qigong is a great way to de-stress the body. And as you know, there's a huge component to disease caused by stress. And stress is a huge factor in how we live our lives and the amount of energy we have and the amount of vitality we have. And so, Dr. Shade, what do you think about Qigong?
People come to me and they're really sick and they got this blown out neurological system and all this toxicity. And I tell them, you need to do Qigong, Tai Chi. You need to do these things that settle down and restore your neurology, because it puts together all the parts. It puts you back into that state where you can start to detoxify. And so I highly, highly recommend all that.
And what about you, Kit Campbell? What do you think about Qigong? Do you like it as well?
Qigong is amazing. And the reason that I believe it to be amazing is everything here is energy. That is a scientific fact, if there ever is one. So when you're practicing Qigong, you're actually drawing energy into your body. Your intention, whatever your intention is behind any action, will determine the level of energy, type of energy that you absorb into your body. So your intention behind is very important, just like thought. So when you're practicing Qigong, you're actually bringing energy in and you're bringing out the stuff that might be a bit stale. With Tai Chi, it's totally different. The energy runs underneath the skin because it's more of a martial. This is the Chinese understanding, by the way. It's more of a martial art. So Qigong is very, very good for bringing that energy into the body, and just fantastic.
If you're interested in picking up this Qigong course by Tristan Truscott and Peter Ragnar, go to extremehealthradio.com/Qigong. That's QIGONG. And you can learn more about it. There's a great video on that page, and you can learn more about it on that page. And I highly, highly recommend this product. I love it myself, so go ahead and check that out. extremehealthradio.com/Qigong.
All three shows, all the time, on Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Call using Skype at Extreme Health Radio or call 949-505-9585. That's 949-505-9585.
All right, we're just powering along here, just motoring along this show. This time is flying by fast as always. It's crazy how time just goes when you're having fun, doesn't it?
Maggie just motored on back to the Biomat.
She's back on the Biomat?
She thinks every time there's a commercial and I go up to go get something that she's going to get a TREAT. I can't say it out loud.
She will follow you room to room, won't she?
She follows me around like the little hot dog she is.
Isn't that just, no matter what room you go in, she'll just be right next to your feet.
She's on you, like everywhere.
Oh my gosh, right?
Oh, Maggie Brown.
So if you guys have any questions about that Qigong course, it's just an amazing course. The videos are so professionally well made, and they're done, and it's got step-by-step instructions. I mean, if you're looking for an incredible program for your longevity, disease prevention, gaining energy, storing energy, holding energy, not leaking your energy, these are just incredible exercises to do Qigong. And if you want to listen to the show that we did with Tristan Truscott, it's episode 127. We actually had him on as well as Peter Ragnar. Mm-hmm. And I think that these exercises, they're completely different than something like rebounding or going to the gym, because all those leak energy. Even though rebounding is amazing, and I do it every single day, these things leak energy. And you go to the gym, you go for a run, they steal energy. After you do the exercise, you are just completely wiped out if you do them right.
Yeah, you never think of it like that, but it's true. The whole concept of like losing your chi or leaking that's something I wasn't even aware that was going part of my problem, you know?
Qigong is just incredible. It's almost like a form of moving meditation in terms of you're able to, it's great to do at the end of a day too, because you have 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening. Mm-hmm. And the idea is to build the energy in the morning so that you have the energy throughout the day. Mm-hmm. Peter Ragnar actually does it before he goes to work out. He does it all, to build that energy. So he's got the endurance and energy to lift heavy weight. But then at the end of the day, to store the energy and to not leak it and to get nice and relaxed before bed. It's an incredible longevity program,
Protocol,
I should say.
Yeah, either way, but yeah. So, I love it.
Yeah, it's just amazing. So I got a little thing here.
And it's not just for dudes.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the thing. Even though it's guys and it seems like a guy thing to do, like you think jiu-jitsu, or I always thought when I heard the term Qigong, it was something like a guy thing. Yeah. And now it's like, oh man, the women are storming it.
Yeah, women are doing, it's
charging it. It's good for everybody. If you're alive and you have chi or you have energy, I think anyone could use it.
Yeah, it's awesome. And the videos are so well done too. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. So I saw this thing. Are you familiar with the Healthy Home Economist?
No, I'm not.
She's doing a raw milk fast.
Whoa.
In March 2011, my friend Paula Jager, owner of CrossFit Jaguar in Tampa, Florida, and fitness editor for this blog, wrote a series of riveting posts about her 15-day raw milk fast.
Yikes.
The series on the milk cure sparked much interest from readers from around the world who became interested in reviewing this age-old remedy for improving vitality, bodily cleansing, and even reversal of serious illness as practiced in the early 1900s by the Mayo Foundation, a forerunner of the famed Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. At the end of Paula's raw milk fast last year, she said that she was so pleased with the results, she had the best blood work of her life at the conclusion of the fast. That she vowed to do a raw milk fast every year around the beginning of spring. Last year, my husband Richard and I joined Paula for Raw Milk Fast 2012. You can read all about it on my 10-day adventure clicking here.
Wow. What was that called again?
The Healthy Home Economist.
Healthy Home Economist.
Yeah, interesting, huh?
Wow. I don't know what I think about that.
Raw milk fast. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yuck. Would you do it?
I don't think I would. I think that fasting is beneficial because you're eliminating so many foods, right? Like you might, if you just do a water fast, you're just doing water. But I'm just not convinced that milk is good for us.
I know.
I'm just not convinced.
Who did we have on just the other day? I was talking about milk.
Mark Lovendale.
It was Mark Lovendale.
Yeah, episode 230?
Yeah, episode 230, I think. That he posed some interesting questions, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm just not convinced. I mean, not just because of what he said, just in my own life and just biologically speaking, it seems as if milk is good for the time where children don't have teeth and they need nutrition. And then they get that for a year or whatever it is, 2 years. And by the time they have teeth, then God says it's time to eat. And I'm just not convinced that we should be drinking milk from... And that's coming from someone who I wish... I don't do well with it, but I wish I did because I love it.
I love milk.
I love it.
Well, actually, I don't like the taste of milk, to be honest. But I like the things milk is in, like ice cream and
cheese and ice
cheese,
cream.
Right? But I can't just the thought of drinking like full-on milk just grosses me out. But.
No, I couldn't do that. But butter. I mean, I do raw grass-fed butter because it's got no lactose and no casein, and so it's just the fat, and I love that.
Yeah, you do okay with that. I know. I do too.
I do good with that, but man, I don't know if I could do a raw milk fast. What about you guys listening? Can you do a raw milk fast? What did she say? It was a 14-day, 15-day raw milk fast? 15.
That's intense.
Ay. What do you think?
I think people are awesome that they can do anything like that for 15 days, no matter what it is.
I know, right?
I want to know what people think. Yeah, that's a forum.
Crazy. That's a forum.
That's a forum right there.
I think we have some listener questions here we should get to. Sherry writes in. She says, sort of a longer email. Hi, Justin and Kate. I was listening to your podcast last night, as I always do. I have a long drive to and from work. You mentioned that you send out weekly newsletters. I searched my email, and the last one I got from you was back in January. Do you think you could add me to the list again? Thanks.
Is she not on the list?
I'm not sure.
What happened there?
Yeah, I'm not sure how that... I'll look into that. I'll see if it's not getting sent out. And she says, I really love your work. I have come to the realization that I need to address my mouth that is full of silver and many root canals. It's so extensive, I don't even know what they would do with me. It's a scary thought. Pull them all out? I don't know. Plus, I need to find a biodentist in Sydney. Your last show on mercury poisoning really hit home. I remember as a young girl, check this out, Kate. This is crazy. I remember as a young girl in school, my friend brought mercury to class and we used to play with it with bare hands. Her mom was a nurse. It was from broken thermometers.
Oh my gosh.
I cannot believe this now, knowing what I know. I wonder about all the connection to my Hashimoto's. Amazing.
Wow.
January 2013, I did a raw detox fitness retreat for a couple of weeks. That last few days, I came out in a red rash with clear blisters all over my body. It came up in lines.
Oh.
I looked like I'd been in a cat fight. The worst of it lasted for 2 months. A year down the track, it has cleaned up except my face. Nothing seems to help. It's very humbling. I try to be patient, but it seems like it's never ending with a constant crop of new blisters. I used to always say, geez, I'm not that toxic, but maybe I am. I'm thinking about all this mercury. Maybe I found out on your site write about trying fish oil topically. My partner says, whatever you do, don't go out smelling like that. It really stinks. That's funny. Laughing out loud, but it did seem
looking out for.
It did seem to soothe the flakiness. Practicing patience. Anyway, I hope you don't mind me sharing. Always open to opinions.
Wow.
So it sounds like the first priority for Sherry here is to find a biological dentist in Sydney.
Yeah. And continuing the mercury detox.
You know, this I think this tea thing is so important that if you live somewhere in the world where there's not a biological dentist, personally, I think it's so important that it would necessitate flying to another country to find one. I think it's that important.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we already fly to a different state. What's to keep us from? If we had to go to a different country, I would do it too.
Yeah. As far as a biological dentist, I would go on to curetoothDecay.com. That's Ramil Nagel's site. I like promoting his work because he does great stuff.
Does he have a list?
He does, as well as aurawellness.com.
That's it. I knew there was something else.
Yeah. And if you guys want to learn more, like I mentioned with Hayden of the book Cure Tooth Decay, and if you go to extremehealthradio.com/decay, you'll find out more about that. But what I would really recommend you do is go to extremehealthradio.com/mouth, MOUTH. And that will redirect you to a summit that you can purchase from Will and Susan Revick, who we've had on the show. And they interview, I think, 25 of the leading health experts and dentists around the world. And you're going to learn more about your teeth than anything that you'll find anywhere. It's amazing.
I'm still pretty blown away by what happened when I got my root canal tooth pulled.
Yeah?
Yeah, last month. It's crazy how my skin reacted. I had blisters. I had like skin bubbles coming up over my chest and my on my shoulders.
Wow.
It was strange. And they're starting to go down. And I had all these like wart type situations pop up and then go down within a week. I mean, my body is definitely still going through it.
It really like it ruffled things up a bit, didn't it? It almost made it's sort of like completely just ruffled up all the toxins, putting them in your bloodstream, and they don't know where to go.
And I wanted to see something, but I didn't think I would, so I was surprised, to be honest. Wow. I didn't know how my body would react.
That's crazy.
You done with that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's an interesting one from Carmela. How to make kombucha. If someone has kidney stones, is there an alternative to green tea?
Oh, I remember Carmela writing that in.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Yeah, she was responding to our newsletter about the recipe I put on the website for how to make kombucha, and you can do it. You can do it. There's a couple references to doing it without tea. If you search, I'll put a link to a video that Daniel Vitalis did. I'll search for that after the show and find out what video that was, because he was making kombucha with some other types of herbs, and he wasn't using tea at all. But I would also recommend Kombucha Mama.
Oh, Kombucha Mama.
Hannah Crum.
She's so cool.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's been on our show. What's that?
She's in LA, right?
She's in LA. She's been on our show. And if you go to extremehealthradio.com / I think it's kombucha. So maybe we'll put a link to that. And I think that'll redirect you over to her site, and you can check out her. She's got a forum and everything. You can learn how to do that.
Sweet.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I have another one here.
Okay.
It's a no-namer.
No-namer.
Hi, Justin and Kate. I got the live show to work by clicking on the icon of the little person, and then it opened up a separate Mixler page, and then it worked out. It worked, but seems weird to have to do that, so I just wanted to let you know, as I very much care about what you are putting out into the world. As always, love the show and the honesty that you and Kate infuse into your interviews, and how willing you are to both put yourselves out there. Thanks again.
Oh, wow.
That's nice.
That's awesome.
I have noticed the Mixler, it has been a little strange lately, and I've had some people show up in that chat instead of our regular chat, and I can't respond to them in the Mixler.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's going on.
Mixler, the code that comes with Mixler that allows people to listen live, unfortunately, also comes with chat code or something, and you can't get rid of it unless because the code lives on their server, so it's really complex.
I don't want people to think I'm ignoring them. I see their stuff and I cannot respond to them.
Yeah. The best is just to use the chat room that's to the right of the live show page, and we'll be improving things as time goes on.
Right.
So I got another
We're
email.
a work in progress.
Yeah, we're a work in progress.
Thanks for letting us know, though. Seriously.
Yeah, we got another email here from Pastor Nar.
Pastor Nar.
And let's see here. He's responding to a thing in the forum about meditation, and he says, someone says, because I asked the question, do you guys meditate?
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering what people use. And so Pastor Nar said, I utilize numerous styles of meditation. I particularly enjoy many of the guided meditations provided by healthyjourneys.com, especially those by Belaruth Naparstek, the founder of the company. She was my primary introduction to meditation back in the 80s.
Would you say healthywhat.com?
Healthyjourneys.com.
Okay.
Following is a link that will provide you with an introduction to numerous meditation modalities. Spiritual healing for you types of meditation. So we'll put a link to this forum thread. It's probably easier to do that.
That'd be great.
Yeah, pretty interesting stuff.
I'll have to check that out because I'm always looking for good guided stuff too.
I saw Pastor Nar, I told you this the other day, on his Facebook. You remember this?
Yeah.
He posted a picture of him, and he's got like a shaved head, and he's got big white goatee. And he said, there's this picture of him that said, "I'm the pastor that your pastor warned you about." Because here he is talking about meditation. Most Christians aren't too big on meditation.
Talk about honesty. I love him.
I love his tagline in the forum too. God is not angry with you.
God is not angry with you. God is not mad at you.
Pastor Nar.
So good.
Isn't that great?
He adds such a what's the word I'm looking? He adds a lot of value.
Yeah.
To everyone he meets, but definitely in the forum and our conversations we've had off the air with him. He's a phenomenal person.
He's cool. Get to know him get to know him in the forum. He's really a great guy, and he's always participating in the forum, and he's got lots of cool things to say.
He is great.
Yeah, Pastor Nar. You can sign up for the forum in a free account. It doesn't cost anything, and a lot of our listeners go there and chat about the show and things, and it's cool.
I got one here from Laura.
Laura.
First I have to yawn.
That's okay. It's been a long show here.
I know. I'm like, okay, Kate.
Wake up.
Liven up.
Liven up here.
Hi, guys. I listen to your show frequently, and I recently had a friend tell me that her son has aggressive Crohn's disease. He is 13 years old, and when he was originally diagnosed several years ago, his mother did not want to put him on the steroids that doctors recommended, and she opted to try to use diet and alternative treatments. However, he has had recent flare-ups and is not doing well. She has not tried the more, quote, extreme alternative treatments, and she hasn't tried having him juice and detoxify. I firmly believe we can reverse almost anything through any disease through detoxification and changes in what we do to our bodies. I listened to the podcast with Ken Pressner, and I was wondering if you had any other insights that I could provide to her, any other resources I could point her to. She's also extremely open to hearing any alternative because the seriousness of his recent flare-up. Any information you could provide would be great. Thank you, Laura.
Yeah, Laura, there's lots of different things. Who was Kit Campbell?
Yeah, I was thinking that too right away. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll put a link to her book. And by the way, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh man, all this stuff, this information is so great, don't worry, we're taking notes. Kate's just so awesome. She's writing stuff down as the show goes on. And so we're taking notes. We'll put all of the links that we talked about on the show in the show notes of this page, which is episode 232.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep.
So,
Kit Campbell came to mind, and also Natasha Campbell McBride, the GAPS diet.
Oh, good one.
That is huge. The GAPS diet is one of the most hard but fascinating books, I think, to get through and try to apply to these serious situations. I think that could be a lifesaver.
Good one. Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah, we did a show with Kit Campbell, and she's written a book. Is her book, I can never remember, is it about Crohn's or colitis?
I think...
Was there a difference?
I think it's... I know they're both... one's a stronger version of the other.
Okay.
Like one's a more serious, like it went into a... I forget which one is which, though, but...
Okay.
The irritable brain syndrome.
That's right. And I would also highly recommend, Konstantin Monastersky.
Oh, right.
The digestive guy. He's been on our show a couple times, and you can find him if you go to gutsense.org. We'll put a link to that as well. Gutsense, GUTSENSE.org. And he's got some really, really good stuff about just the whole digestive process. And it's just amazing guy.
Yeah. There is such good stuff out there. I mean, I can only imagine a 13-year-old having something like Crohn's or colitis. That just sounds like the worst thing.
Gosh, right?
Oh, and it's happening so much younger and younger. It is a gut disease. I mean, it's an inflammation, colon, gut, all that. Obviously, it's like younger and younger generations are not being able to tolerate all these processed foods and things we're doing to ourselves at younger ages. But
not good.
People don't know.
Speaking of Pastor Nar.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I received notice tonight that my Biomat is scheduled to be here on Friday.
Woohoo!
I can't wait.
Nice.
I period can't period wait exclamation point. All caps. Smiley face Nar.
Nice.
Isn't that awesome?
Well, you know what's cool about Pastor Nar? He ordered a Biomat, obviously because they're amazing and we love ours and we've told him how much we get out of it. But he did something called the Aroma Touch Therapy, where he has people come in, he uses essential oils and does these particular...
Does he do massage?
I think it's a little bit of that, yeah. But it's more of like maybe a meridian. I'm not sure exactly what Aroma Touch is, but I know it's super powerful and healing. It's just another modality. But he really wanted to step that up a level and have his clients be on the Biomat and just have that soothing aspect added. I mean, these people are going to fall asleep and never want to get off the table.
I know. It's going to be incredible. He's going to have to wake them up. He's going to have to do CPR on these people. You know?
It's like death in a good way.
Yeah, they're going to just be out and...
yeah, they're going to be on another universe. That Biomat takes you to weird places.
It does. You know, people should do ayahuasca on the Biomat.
Oh, gosh. They wouldn't stay on the Biomat. Well, maybe they would.
They'd shoot out to the center of the universe.
18th dimension and back.
They'd meet Chris Kaler and Nikola Tesla. For a bite to eat.
Oh, you are funny.
Yeah, so that's cool. So the Biomat's going to be here on Friday, which is actually today, because he wrote this 2 days ago.
I wonder if he got it yet.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I was thinking of actually calling him and finding out.
Yeah, he's great.
He is great.
We got another YouTube comment from Peyton about our show with Dr. Nicholas Gonzalez.
I like the way you said that, Gonzalez. I get some pressure under my right rib cage, which is the gallbladder. I get it after eating meat, so I guess I have to consume massive salads and green juice for the rest of my life. Aww. It's so much work. Interesting, though, that I can consume several tablespoons of coconut oil, which doesn't bother me. My blood type is A positive. I miss my meat, though. Yeah, that was cool. We've had a lot of people say that Dr. Gonzalez was like a breath of fresh air because of his different types of diets and things. That guy was walking knowledge, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was really good.
Obviously.
Yeah, really, really interesting guy.
Yeah. So he was one of my favorites. I really enjoyed him.
What else do we got here to get through?
Well, I got some fun facts.
Want to do a fun fact?
I feel it coming on.
Let me see if I can do this.
Okay.
Fun fact. Let me find the...
And now join us for Fun Facts with Kate.
Oh, man.
Where you never know what the heck is on her mind, or gonna come out of her mouth.
Huh?
I wondered if you were going to do that.
I did. I saved you. I spared you.
Such a creepy laugh. This is about fevers. Fever.
Okay.
Fevers fight infection. They slow bacteria and viruses. They're the little white blood cell soldiers. Acute phase response. Help you recover quickly. Protects your body. And up to an extent, do not cause harm. It says here, simple fevers up to 104 degrees Fahrenheit are safe thanks to your body's innate intelligence.
Wow.
People freak out on fevers.
Simple fevers up to how?
104.
104, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. You're right. People do get crazy when their kids have fevers, don't
Of course you do. It's the scariest thing ever. And it's so sad to see like your little people going through a fever. It's horrible. It's totally horrible. But I think we all run to the doctor and the hospital so much faster usually than we need to. There are some that, are out of control and you do need some help. But
yeah, we get
people
nervous.
Don't try everything. Well, the first thing is they try to reduce the fever right away and don't let the fever exist. And that's a problem because that's exactly what your body's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, your body wants to be hot and break that fever. Yeah.
Right. But then again, it's like when it does get a little higher and you do get a little more concerned, it seems like there are other ways to try. And I had a friend who had a fever. It was really high. It was like 106 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And I was reading online, and I was trying to help her figure out ways to kind of deal with that. And there's so many things, like putting wet socks on your feet.
Oh, really?
Soaking your socks in cold water, wringing them out, and then putting them on your feet. There's tons of random things you can do to try to lower a fever. And if all that doesn't work, obviously, I'm not a medical expert, but I do think there's a time.
Like working with the fever too, and putting like their children in bed with a ton of blankets and just letting that sweat break.
Sweat it out.
And once they sweat it out and the sweat breaks, the fever goes down. It kind of assists the body and getting even hotter.
It sounds so not natural, but
yeah, it seems so counterintuitive to do that because you're making the body hotter.
Right. But I do think, yeah, you're right. We're so afraid. We're so quick because we're afraid. We want to see things fixed right away. We don't know what to do, and that's what kind of throws us all off.
Yeah, I agree.
Here's also another one.
Okay.
12 symptoms of spiritual awakening.
Ooh,
you like this.
Ooh.
1, an increased tendency to let things happen rather than make them happen.
Oh, okay.
2, frequent attacks of smiling. I do find that to be true, actually. I do smile a lot when I feel like I'm really thriving in a spiritual path.
In a good way, yeah.
3, feelings of being connected with others in nature.
Oh.
4, frequent, overwhelming episodes of appreciation.
5,
a tendency to think and act spontaneously rather than from fears based on past experience. 6, an unmistakable ability to enjoy each moment. 7, a loss of ability to worry. 8, loss of interest in conflict. 9, a loss of interest in interpreting the action of others. 10, a loss of interest in judging others. 11, a loss of interest in judging yourself. 12, gaining the ability to love without expecting anything.
Wow. I like 8, 9, and 10.
I do too.
Those are really good.
Those are very true in my life.
A loss of interest in judging others.
Conflict and interpreting the actions of others. It reminds me of Don Miguel Ruiz, one of our favorite books, The 4 Agreements.
Yeah. That's a good book.
About not only not taking things personally, but just letting stuff go. You don't have to interpret what they do. Why do we care what other people do or think about us?
I know, right?
It's not our business.
It's
their business.
Yeah, it's their business. If they want to get all riled up about what we're doing, then that's their business, right?
That's their business.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Wow. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's time to wrap this show up, don't you think?
Yeah, we got to go move a piece of furniture.
Yeah, we've got some things to change around in the house. We've got to get rid of a big dresser that's in our bedroom.
Because I am making it into my home office where I have a place to get some stuff done.
Yeah, you're gonna do some work there, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
A lot of work, and I will share that as I. And by the way, next Free-for-All Friday, finally we'll be able to address a lot of relationship issues
that you have with me.
That well, maybe.
I'm not
I'll
sure
leave that cliffhanger.
For some reason, I don't think I'm going to be around next Friday.
Be a solo hosted podcast.
No, but people have been asking about...
People have been asking a little bit about our relationship and wanting to know a little bit about maybe how we make things work. And I have some insight onto that I would love to share with people.
Yeah, we'll get into that next Friday.
So we will. Finally. Thanks for your patience waiting for us to do that, people.
Yeah, we're going to move some furniture. I'm going to make a smoothie, and we're going to get this day cracking.
Let's do it.
Is that what they say?
That's what we say. Shall we end with a quote?
Let's end with a quote.
Before we will say goodbye, let's leave you with something to ponder throughout your day. Here's an inspirational quote for this episode.
Wow, that just about blew my eardrums out.
I need to get some help for my ears.
I
can't. What?
I can't even hear anymore.
Can't hear anything. I want to live simply. I want to sit by the window when it rains and read books I'll never be tested on. I want to paint because I want to, not because I've got something to prove. I want to listen to my body, fall asleep when the moon is high, and wake up slowly with no place to rush off to. I want not to be governed by money or clocks or any of the artificial restraints that humanity imposes on itself. I just want to be boundless and infinite.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
Maggie says it's time to go for now, but our mission does not end with this show.
Justin and Kate will be back with another interview packed full of ideas, discoveries, and unique ways to regain your health.
Head on over to extremehealthradio.com/subscribe and instantly download our free gift too that contains cutting-edge strategies to start making healthy lifestyle changes today.
No material on this blog is intended to suggest that you should not seek professional medical care. Always work with qualified medical professionals, even as you educate yourself in the field of live food nutrition and alternative medicine. I'm not a doctor, nor am I offering readers or listeners medical advice of any kind. None of the information offered here should be interpreted as a diagnosis of any disease, nor an attempt to treat or prevent